And we're live. Hello, everybody, and Happy New Year. I'm Cassidy Bass, the Director of Career Development for Remax Crest and Masters. And joining us today, we have Navid Hakimi. Hello, Navid. How are you?
Hey guys, I'm doing great. Thank you for having me.
Awesome. So I am really looking forward to chatting with you today. You have accomplished a lot in the business in a relatively short period of time. Why don't we start off with you telling us a little bit about yourself and your business and what it's taken you to get to where you are today?
Sure. I started about over 3 years ago in end of 2017, early 2018. As we all may know, people who are in the industry, they know that it was not an easy year to start. Combining all the taxes and downward trend in the market, combined with being a new agent and being a young agent, all the forces were against me. That being said, I did my absolute best, and I got a few deals under my belt, which helped me to start my real estate journey. It was definitely difficult. There are a lot of part-time agents out there that in difficult times they quit, they come back, like they do different jobs, potentially because of they need ongoing money, or they think it's an easy business, but definitely it's not. We all know being a realtor, is probably one of the ultimate levels of sales, and also you have to have people skills. So I've been in the business. Just to wrap up this question, I've been in the business for about just over 3 years, and I work residential, and also I've had sales in the range of 400,000 to under $4 million. So that's my sweet spot for now.
That's great. And so you obviously have overcome a lot of challenges to get to your level of success. Tell me about what some of those biggest challenges were and how you worked to overcome them.
You know what? The entire business is about challenge, to be honest. And um, so for me, coming from a sales background, I've been in banking before. That definitely helped me a great deal in order to um, soft skills, hard skills, like how to communicate with people, how to overcome objections. Um, Sorry, what was the question?
So just just the biggest challenges, and I know for like a lot of new people getting started, obviously it's building the business and finding clients and getting things off the ground and getting people to trust you. Would you say that would that be similar to what your experience was?
All right. Sorry, I lost you for a sec. So as for the challenges, number one, we're dealing with people, and dealing with people, each individual have require their own attention, require their own level of knowledge. I honestly see a lot of people who are extremely educated in real estate. Either they're builders, developers, people who are some sort of engineer and have connection with real estate. So they definitely, like, you have to be definitely be knowledgeable to be able to be a match with them. So on a daily basis, I have to improve my knowledge. I have to stay updated with all the new regulations, changes in real estate industry, and people ask you questions that are not necessarily your field of expertise, anywhere from like accounting, anywhere from law questions, tax questions, and like, although it's not our job, but they're like, well, like, you do this every day. How do you not know this, right? That being said, obviously commission is a lot of time an issue, because unfortunately we have a lot of people who, in order to gain business, they show a lot of flexibility on their commission, which make it seem like it's a standard for everyone to be flexible on their commission. Not just that, we have people who are in one-person realty companies, which only pay you half a percent, which in cases that could be like almost a third of your commission. And like nowadays I'm feeling like seeing a lot more of those agents, and it makes it very difficult because I've had cases where I sell for a client and I have to buy for them, and they already paid me once, and I have to have a conversation that, can you pay me twice? And they're like, what the hell, So again, there's so many difficulties in this business, and every day you have to be creative, be knowledgeable, and like regardless of what you're going on in your personal life, you have to be the nicest person ever in order to like make your clients feel welcome, and be open to all their questions and inquiries.
Absolutely. It's a competitive business for sure. And yeah, you have to really know what your unique selling proposition is to stay, keep at the top of your game. What does that look like for you in terms of customer service, in terms of where you're focusing your energy, and what makes you stand out, do you feel, as a unique agent in the industry?
To begin with, everyone are unique agents. They just have to know what they're good at, and like focus in that aspect of their personality. Again, early on in the business, I have seen successful people. I try to figure out what they do that makes them successful, and I try to copy them maybe. But I realized that only works for them. Like if you go into like a sales training, there is like multiple different ways of acquiring clients, anywhere from lead generation systems, which only cost money, and like you wait for people to come in and then see how you want to deal with them. That's one way. There is cold calling, there is door knocking, but ultimately you want to be organically incoming, right? Mm-hmm. You want people to be on referral basis. You want people to like reach out to you because of something you shared that caught their attention. So naturally, I figured that like if I wanted to compete with all the top agents who have well over $50,000 on a monthly basis in marketing budget, which I don't think anytime soon I can compete with those people with that budget. I have to do something that is efficient for me. I have to do something that is different. I have to do something that shows why me versus someone who's been in the business for 10, 15 years, 30 years potentially. They have a lot more experience than I do. It's definitely a different way of putting yourself out there. And for me, social media has done that job. It's still costly in order to do it properly, in order to do it professionally, high quality, both in terms of the video quality and material quality. Because it's easy to fill your social media with crap, quite frankly. But in order to be active and offer material that adds value to people who are watching, who are following you, that's definitely difficult.
Right. And on the topic of social media, congratulations, because you were recognized, obviously, as Property Spark's top 20 Vancouver real estate agents on social media this past year. So well done. That's amazing. So I definitely want to dive into your strategy surrounding social media. And like you mentioned, I know that you've got like a nice kind of mix of social media. You do videos, you post a lot of testimonials and other kind of fun and factual information. Can you tell me a little bit more about your method to your social media strategy? And, maybe some of the milestones it took you to get from where you started to where you are today. Because I know it just didn't happen overnight. So talk to me a little bit about that process and what that looked like for you and your business.
Well, in terms of social media, from day one, I try to put myself in front of the camera. You'll be surprised. It takes one good video may take sometimes, at least in the beginning, sometimes around like 4 hours, even more, to have like a short and sweet 1 to 2 minute outcome from it. And that back in the time, I used to do it on my own phone, on my own lighting, on my own, clicker, like tripod, everything. And, it was difficult to find spots that, you can do it 4 hours and, nobody interrupt you. So That was the beginning, but still, back in the time, I tried to be well informed, well educated, and pass on the correct information. Because I still see people who, regardless of whether they're new agents or not, and they try to be on social media because obviously that's the most cost effective, but it's a double-edged sword. Reason for that is that if you don't do it properly, if you, for any reason, people out there, they want a reason to judge you and not necessarily in a good way. So if you don't share the right information, if you try to like share negativity, if you say, oh, this and that agent did that or did this or stuff like that, so you have to focus on the positive, you have to focus on the information, because it's very easy to give reason to people to hate you for no good reason, to be honest. So being fun, being informative, and in order to like tap into the more luxury market, you have to increase your quality in every sense of the word in order to gain like people's trust to go into like more, because luxury market are a lot more competitive. Like I've felt it recently that I've done multi-million-dollar deals. The pressure from other agents is more on you, and you notice that people are noticing you, and that creates a huge competition. So you have to be firm in your way, you have to know what you're doing, and yeah, pretty much that's it.
And so what did it take you to kind of get comfortable with that? Like, were you always on social media before? Like you said, you kind of like started with the basic stuff, like doing it on your own with your, whether it's a selfie stick or on your phone, and you progressed to the more professional side of it. Did that take you a little while, or talk to me a little bit kind of more about that, like transition from that super beginner to like the more professional style that you've got going on right now?
Of course. Well, like doing it at a professional level, it obviously costs a lot more money. Not just that, takes a lot more time, takes a lot more preparation. And again, back in the time, I started with, like probably like not even $100 product from Amazon, and just my own phone. I think I had a S8 back in the time, and still I try to, like do market update, like events, different events in the air, and sometime here and there pictures. But now everything is taken with a professional camera, professional editor, and that definitely cost me a lot more. But also that's what is needed in order to do it. And you know what? You have to, regardless of where you are in your business, dedicate a budget to your marketing, whatever that suits you. So spending money in our business on marketing, first of all, is tax deductible. So it makes perfect sense to use that a little bit extra money in order to promote yourself. And usually because the reward is fairly considerable, it makes sense to put marketing budget and increase it as you go on and as you make more money to get more back. And honestly, like that has worked very well for me.
Yeah, invest back in for sure. And you must have had some teachers. Like, we don't get to success on our own. So whether that be like certain podcasts you listen to, certain books you've read, maybe you follow like some accounts on YouTube. I see Mally here. Hey Mally, you've asked that question. It's a great question. What have been kind of your biggest sources for learning to get to the level that you're at?
Well, I wouldn't call it per se teacher. Obviously, there have been people that I try to copy in the very early ages. But first of all, you wouldn't go far by copying, because that's not you, and you can't be better than the person you're copying. So it
looks like we've lost you there, Navid. Your screen is for. Oh, now you're back. Okay, sorry.
As I was saying, I didn't have per se one teacher. Obviously, there are lawyers around me, there are mortgage brokers around me, there are accountants around me, for my own family and for my clients that, I talk to. I have really good relationship with other professionals that one way or another relate to our business. And, I go for coffee with them. I learn from them. And, I've always been okay in front of camera. So I really didn't need that. That only needed practice to get better and more comfortable and take less time to create a perfect video. What I did need is information, because there's only so many pictures of yourself you can post. There's only so many market updates you can post. There's only so many events in the year, right? So you have to have organic material that people care about, right? Whether it's from like recording a video from the process of, like some of my videos maybe from the process of buying to beginning to end,
Right.
selling from beginning to end,
Yeah.
pre-sell versus resell, advantage of each. There's so many topic out there that you can think about, and all you have to do is put yourself in the shoes of a buyer who have zero idea about real estate, and the questions come to you naturally. But on the other hand, first of all, it takes knowledge. You have to have done it like 10 times in order to be comfortable to share the process. You have to know the detail of resale versus pre-sale, which taxes apply to each, things like that. I don't want to go on and on, but point being is you have to know inside out the information that you're sharing. And a lot of those I get from lawyers, a lot of those I get from practice and knowledge, a lot of those I get from, like, if I talk to a client, I have a good idea with some basic question, how much they can afford. Obviously, I don't share mortgage advice, but knowing that your client who wants to buy $1 million property can only afford like $300,000, and the only thing, because they have 20%, they can get the 80% remaining, you don't want to spend too much time and you want to transfer them to a mortgage broker, right? So information is now the biggest challenge for me to acquire the right information from the correct sources, and don't just share my own observation and guesses.
Mm-hmm. And so I see on your social media, it looks like you've got a little bit of a flow going in terms of like what you post. And like you said, you have to have lots of content to be sharing consistently, and
Right.
to always be putting out there. Do you plan out that content? Like, how much time, like specifically for your digital marketing and your social media, what does like that look like in terms of, is it something you're time blocking? Do you plan it out a month ahead of time? Like, do you use a content planner or any other resources to help you with that?
Definitely planning is number one in being consistent, whatever it may be. Think of it as a diet, and diet planning. When you want to like go on a diet, you plan for the rest of the week. You have like small boxes for breakfast, lunch, dinner. That's what I do as well.
Yeah.
That's what I do as well. But the difficulty is that, for example, in the example of a diet, you can do it all on your own. If you don't know much about editing, if you don't know much about videographing, you need someone on your side, more than one person, in order to do that. And you are the person who organizes them all. Tell them the material that you want to record and post, and the order you want to do it, how you want it to be in order to be unique to your own style. And that takes a lot of back and forth with everyone involved that is doing the job for you. So it definitely takes time, and I can't just give them a call 9 a.m. and be like, it has to be ready 10 a.m., right? I have to do it two days ahead, so they can organize as well.
Yeah. So you got to look ahead. You've got to plan, and so the people that you're using for that is like, you obviously have a videographer and they do the video editing. Is there anyone or anything else that you're using? Are you using any systems like Hootsuite or anything like that to kind of pace things out over the week?
Not really. Although that might be a good idea for me. Not yet. That might be something down the road in the future, but that definitely helps. At the moment, I kind of like plan just a few days ahead, and I have all the content. I have all the pictures, all the videos taken, a few at a time. So I have material for 2 weeks. It's just a matter of editing and stuff like that.
Gotcha. So you've got a little bit of like an inventory, a library that you've created that like keeps you going room for a little bit so that you just have to kind of put it together. And do you like spend a certain amount of time on this every day, or like do you put it in your calendar and time block it, or is it a little bit more fluid than that?
Say like it could be either way, but for me, because I don't do it in the office, I don't do it at home. Sometimes if the weather is good, I call my videographer, photographer. I say like, let's meet up at Stanley Park, like later in the day, whenever you have time. Or if it's a video, then I have to plan the content before. For example, 7th of the month, the market update is out. I'm recording it tomorrow. I have to send it to my editor. It probably takes another 3 days at least after we record it. My guy can extract it, send it to the editor. The editor, does it. And the pickier you are, the longer it takes, which I am probably the pickiest person. So I usually have 5-6 different edits, and it definitely takes time to get it good to go. So for me, it usually, I'm usually posting the second half of the month for the previous month, because it takes some back and forth.
Right. And then you've got like the stuff that you're doing that's like more in the moment, which is like you're obviously like your Instagram and Facebook stories. Do those, I always wonder with whether people are mostly posting those just in the moment. It's like, okay, something's happening, let's do it. I'm going to add the stickers and the tags and all that and post it in the moment. Or do you like usually like save it on your phone and then get to it later? Is there kind of a best practice that you follow there?
Well, I mean, depends. Depends on what I'm posting. If it's a picture that I've taken before, a professional picture, it doesn't really need to be taken at the moment. I just have it on my phone. And I just, sometimes for being active, I just post it, find something relevant to the picture or for the event and just, put underneath it. But more than most, that it's not just a picture of myself. Well, if it's a story, well, stories are usually for me, things that I'm doing that shows my activity. If I'm in a neighborhood that needs a little bit of explanation, I explain that over a story. If I'm, doing showings late in the evening, if it's a, interesting property that, I want to share just in case somebody else is interested, those are in the moment, of course. But if it's something done professionally before, then in that case, it's already ready out there and I just post it.
Yeah. Awesome. Let's talk followers. So I see that you have 5,000 followers. So that's a lot of eyes on you, and well done on getting that following. What tips do you have for someone wanting to grow their social media following? And how did you get to that level of social media following? I guess would be the other part of that question.
Well, that is definitely not easy, because people out there, the attention span of people have definitely decreased compared to say 10 years ago. Nowadays, there is so many material online, and people, I would say, kind of like trick you just to watch their video and increase their followers and everything. So people nowadays, they don't really look into the entire video. They just kind of like see 5 seconds of it. And to be honest, 5 seconds is all you have to catch their attention in order to make sure they watch the rest of your video or not. And you have to be an interesting person in front of your followers, because first of all, people unfollow you if you're not. And second of all, if you don't post interesting stuff in the first place, you don't gain all those followers. So as I said in the beginning, high quality material, like the quality of the video is the easier part of it. The quality of your content is the harder part of it. And you have to be informative and you have to be fun. People don't want to feel like they're sitting in a university, listening to a prof, right? They want to listen to a knowledgeable friend, right? That is, not only knowledgeable, but also is friendly, and it's fun. Like here and there, some humors in the video. So that's how you have to grow, and then at some point you see exponential growth.
Right. And so like, are you using like to grow that following? Are you like engaging with people that you would want to follow you? Are you adding a lot of very specific hashtags? Like, can you tell me a little bit more about the strategy from going from a couple hundred followers to thousands of followers? Like, how does that happen?
Well, hashtags are definitely one. At times I see, say, like 25% of my reach, because if you have a business Instagram, you can see the stats. And at times I see 25% of my, like engagement is people that don't follow me. So naturally it's coming from hashtags and, people out there that somehow either see my information out there, or they see me through hashtags, or somebody shares it. I see sometimes 20, 40, 50 people share a certain post that I have. So those are definitely adding to my engagement, and that's what you need.
Ah,
So hashtag is definitely important, and hashtag is not just guessing or whatever random you see out there. It has to be well researched. There are platforms that tell you about this specific keyword. What are the most like followers for like different hashtags. So you kind of find them, you don't guess them.
mhm.
And also, you don't want to be among like hashtags that are necessarily a few 100,000 or million followers. You want to mix and match a few of those few 100,000 followers for that specific hashtag, and then few another one that has a few hundred. So you are in a broader range, and then you're in a smaller range. So it definitely has strategies. Like hashtag is, some people are expert of hashtags and they charge you just to like do your hashtag. So um, first of all, again, it comes with experience. It comes with researching. So in our field, as I mentioned earlier on in the video, being on social media is a double-edged sword. If you don't do it properly, I've seen people who have like, I'm gonna be very, very honest here. I've seen people who, like woke up after a hangover and they just recorded a video, like showing a virtual open house, and the video ended up in a funny account that they only share like funny and um, humorous videos. So people laughed at it. That's what I mean by double-edged sword. So if you don't do it properly, you're gonna end up on the negative side of the social media world.
Yeah, right. And I know that obviously, like, social media is a lot about engagement, and I see that your followers give you a lot of love on your posts, which is exactly what you want. But I think that this can be one of the most challenging things because you're putting yourself out there, and that takes a lot of courage. And you also like want to know that the content that you're putting out there, is resonating. So, what would you say are some of your best tips to like garner engagement?
Well, um, so again, go ahead. Go ahead.
Yeah, I was just going to say to kind of guide you along, like you had mentioned that, some of your posts, for example, some you'll get people sharing it maybe like 20 or 30 times. So maybe like to bring it back to that, what kind of posts are those that people are really wanting to share? Like, can you give me a couple of examples of posts that you do that get the most engagement and that people are excited enough to share that post?
Well, a few things in a nutshell. You have to be genuine, and you have to find what you're good at. Um, in my personal life, I'm a humorous person. I'm a fun person. I like use some fun ways. Maybe like somewhat like Chandler in Friends. Like I try to be like him, and to me, Chandler is the best character in Friends, right? Because I connect with him, and I find humor as a way to attract people to, they don't get bored talking to you. And being humorous definitely needs knowledge, because you can't just say cheap jokes or things that don't make sense, right? So it's a combination of sophistication, uh, like attractive material, and again, being yourself has worked for me. And also nowadays that I hire editor and professional videographer, it's a combination of high quality material, and then like virtually the video is nice. So I find like a like blank background sometimes, or I go somewhere that there's nobody around me, so like the editor can put things around me, or like edit the background, stuff like that. It definitely is going to be a costly video, but also it ends up, getting shared and viewed more than most.
Catching more eyes. Yeah, I was seeing one of your posts when I was looking in your Instagram account about it, just like funny listings or funny things that realtors have posted online and that sort of a thing. So that's
Exactly.
kind of what you mean by that. Yeah, things that are like entertaining and like it sounds like lighthearted and yeah, people are always like
to be serious all the time, or saying do's and don'ts, and because to be honest, real estate is a topic that most people think they know everything about it, right? So it's difficult to be teaching people. If you're a surgeon, people know that they don't know about surgery, right? I'm not saying we're doing anything close to surgery, but in our field, people think they know everything about investment and real estate, and it's straightforward, and they come to you, they tell you what to do, they tell you what they want. Whereas when you ask 5 questions in 2 minutes, they realize they are completely off compared to what they can do and what they should do. And a lot of time people have strong opinion about things like this, which makes it even more difficult to advise them. Because when you go to a lawyer, you're going to them, you're paying them in order to get their advice. In our field, a lot of times people are not as open to get advice. So it has to be in a way that people connect. If it's very dry, people are definitely going to get bored, and the chances of watching even half of your video is slim to none.
Mm-hmm. Awesome. So, Navid, I know you have some big goals for the coming year. What will you be doing to up your game in 2021?
Well, given that my activity is on social media, I have to find different creative ways to multiply my exposure. And in today's world, that's definitely possible, but that has to be creative. That comes with collaboration. That comes with, sometimes even sharing incentives for people, to call you, because nowadays usually I give a very generous gift to most of my clients. So might as well, kind of like say that, instead of being a surprise, like have people know that, not only you get a good service, but also you get a really nice thank you gift, like things like that. You have to be creative. You have to find ways that your word, your name gets spread around. First of all, that you have to have a really good service. People are not going to refer you, because to me, when I refer someone, I have to make sure I've worked with them, not only on personal level, but on professional level. I'm confident, referring them. And I don't expect anything less from people who refer me, which nowadays my client base is mostly based on referral and organic, and people reach out to me rather than, back in the time I used to call everyone.
Yeah, that's right. And do you like, is there anywhere that you gain that kind of inspiration for your creative social media posts? Like, are there certain people that you follow that inspire you and give you ideas or anything like that?
It's not specifically one person. Doing this as my main source of marketing, naturally I observe other people, how they do it. Like on a daily basis, I'm scrolling on Instagram, Facebook, whatever. I see things that resonates with me, and I feel like, oh wow, this is a good idea. Why not I do it? Like obviously, I try not to copy. But I try to get the idea and change it in a way that fits my character and fits my follower base. So not a one person kind of thing, I would say, because to be honest, that would be copying if you're trying to do exactly what somebody else is doing. But generally, I when I'm looking online, I don't just look at it as just wasting time, but I also look at it as what are people doing nowadays that could be something I do, because all over the world nowadays, you see people on social media from all over the world, and you can do what they do, having the resources. So why not?
Well, that's great. I mean, Navid, thank you so much for joining me and sharing all the information that you did today. Really appreciate it. And I wish you much continued success for this year and, of course, beyond. For those of you that are watching, we have our next live interview a week from today on Thursday, January 14th. And we will be having Mark Ballard join us. I'm really looking forward to chatting with Mark. Mark, I believe, was in the top 100 RE/MAX agents in the world at one point. So he does a lot of business, and he is one of the most professional agents that I've come across. So I'm looking forward to hearing what he has to say. Again, Navid, thanks so much. And we'll see you next time.
Thank you so much, Cassie.